Hi, I'm James West. This is Midas Letter Money, and my guest today is Chris Bogart, who is the president and CEO of a new company called Standard Graphite Corporation. Trades under the symbol SGH on the TSX Venture Exchange. Chris, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Jim.
Now, Chris, graphite, that's a relatively new metal in the lexicon of resource investors around the world. What is the big deal with graphite?
Graphite, we believe, will be the next big strategic metal, and I'm sure your audience is well aware of the strategic metals, lithium, rare earths, have had the big run in the last 5 years.
So basically they go up and straight down again.
Not quite. We believe the fundamentals behind graphite are equally important in the demand, but the ability for the market to supply that demand is extremely limited. We believe there's a long-term price appreciation happening in graphite based on this extreme supply-demand scenario.
Okay, so demand is rising, supply is finite. Where is all the supply come from now?
So supply predominantly is China, but 70% of the world's graphite comes from China. The key to that number is a few things. Number one, flake graphite, which is a very specific type of graphite, China does not have in large quantities. The growing demand, world demand in graphite is this very precious flake graphite that is not presently in abundance of quality in China.
And so what's driving the demand for this big flake graphite?
So two things. Number one, you've got traditional demand, and look at metals in general. You've had a big commodity boom in the metals, nickel, copper, gold. Pick your metal. Graphite has not had that run within this commodity supercycle, and that's traditional demand. Demand from China, India, Russia, Brazil, typical demand drivers. Flake graphite in particular then is on top of that, and that's the technology grade graphite that flake demand fuels, fuel cells, nuclear reactors, wind power, and most importantly, we believe, is the lithium-ion battery, which graphite has 20 to 30 times more graphite by weight than lithium in a lithium battery.
So graphite's more important to a lithium-ion battery than lithium?
Should be a graphite lithium battery.
We'll have to invent something along those lines. So let's talk a bit about where you're going to find your graphite. You've got some mineral claims in Quebec as well as Ontario. What's drawn you to either of those, and which one's your flagship?
So we are in an area called the Grenville province of Canada. And Canada is well known as the world's best graphite exploration country, predominantly because it is host to numerous flake graphite deposits, and we are in that region. So Quebec, we have 9 properties currently, all within these very prolific districts, and we have 3 very large quality flake graphite projects in Ontario, which is again surrounded by either well-known graphite deposits or producing assets.
So then you've already done some drilling and metallurgy on your deposits at this point?
I'm happy to report, not yet, but coming soon. So we have acquired these projects based on the historic work that's done on them, and we believe that our geologics team's pedigree of success in the past, which they have founded significant graphite deposits, the opportunity within our current host of properties is going to unlock a lot of value for investors.
So there's historical non-43-101 compliant work has been done to identify these deposits as prospective for graphite deposits of economic grade.
Absolutely.
But at this point, no drilling and early stage groundwork, geophysics?
We have trenching done, ground sampling completed, we have historic drilling on some of our properties, and we have just commenced a electromagnetic survey on all our properties in Quebec and Ontario. The Ontario projects have been completed, and we're expecting Quebec to be done within the next 30 to 45 days.
Okay, so let's talk about now the next 12 months, 24 months going out. What would compel an investor to participate in Standard Graphite at this point? And if they did, what have they got to look forward to?
So I think the compelling reason is if you love the graphite sector, you're looking for a project and a team that can deliver on successful exploration results. We have a very aggressive exploration strategy plan for 2012. We have already begun the implementation of it, and in particular graphite, just by the nature of its very properties, which is extremely conductive. The projects are fairly homogeneous in nature, so our ability to turn those projects into a developmental style project within the next 12 months is very real and very achievable.
Okay, so you've got multiple projects, Electromagnetic surveys going on.
Correct.
You're going to start drilling at some point in 2012.
Our target plan is to start drilling and test targets on 5 to 6 of our best targets within the early part of this summer. Pick a flagship asset, whichever project has the best results, and start a aggressive developmental program by September of 2012.
And cash in the bank right now?
We just raised 1.5 million, so we're currently at 1.7 million in the bank. And we will need to go back to market at some point this year to fund an aggressive drill program.
Okay, well, lots to look forward to. Chris, we're going to leave it at that. Thanks for joining us today.
James, thanks for having me.
If you'd like to learn more about Standard Graphite, go and visit them on the web at standardgraphite.com. And if you want to learn more about early stage opportunities like Standard Graphite, visit midasletter.com. I'm James West. This is Midas Letter Money.